This is a foam rolling for the spinal erectors or paraspinals. First thing we want to do is we want to get situated properly on the foam roller. I'm going to have my tailbone on one end, my head supported on the other. Make sure we have full support of our spine and neck and head included. From here, just take a couple deep breaths. Personally, I like to go about anywhere from 5 to 8. And we're thinking about breathing in slowly like we're sniffing the roses, and then a nice big exhale as if you're fogging up a mirror. So what that may look like. As we continue these breaths, we want to think about extending the time that we're doing. What we're trying to do with this is really relax our nervous system, draw that rib cage down, get into a more neutral state while we have the pressure on our spine and or the paraspinals, the muscles that go right along the spine. After about 6 to 8 breaths, somewhere around there, roughly 30 seconds, the next sequence that we're going to do is toy soldiers. So from this neutral position, we're going to reach one arm overhead, trying to reach down towards the floor, keeping the arm straight while the other is low, and then alternate. We'll continue this for about 30 seconds, taking our time, thinking about each rep as getting further than the previous, and sometimes using our breath to get a little bit more range of motion towards the end range. All while we do this, we want to think of maintaining a little bit of core tension, keeping the ribs slightly pulled in, not completely flat, but not flared as well. So trying to get more of a neutral position here in our rib cage with our pelvis. The second movement we're going to do from the toy soldiers is then moving on to something similar with the lower body. We're going to go with marches. A little bit of tailbone tuck to start. We're going to lift one leg up to about 90 degrees or what feels comfortable for you, and then back down. This one's slightly different than the toy soldiers. We're going to have our hands in contact with the ground and one foot at all times. And our next movement in this is going to be a lateral glide side to side. So what we're thinking of is going in between the shoulder blades themselves. Once we hit that point, we're going to return back to the midline, and I want my head to go the opposite direction that my body travels. So if I go over here to the left with my body, my head is going to turn right. I feel my right shoulder blade. I'm going to come back to neutral and continue on to the other side. Want to think nice and smooth. I like to cue this as a hover, so we're not dumping off the side of the foam roller, but we're thinking of just gliding, hovering over the floor horizontally until we hit shoulder blade to shoulder blade. After roughly 30 seconds of those, we're going to recenter into the middle. And the very last sequence that we may add, especially if we have a little bit more tension in our mid and upper back, is going to be rotating the pelvis under, a little bit of a pelvic tilt, and slowly lifting into a glute bridge, applying more pressure into the mid back, traps, rhomboids, everything in between the shoulder blades, and back down. Okay, we want to cue this almost one vertebrae at a time so we get the pelvic tilt. Nice slow pickup into the glute bridge. And then as we come down, we want to think one vertebrae here at a time, just so we get some good segmentation. Nice, slow, and controlled. Not doing anything aggressive or fast with speed. We're more looking for the pressure against the muscles to let them relax or tell them to relax. And you'll find that this is pretty effective at getting the whole back, mid, upper, and the lower to really calm down. Now, if we want to get a little bit of buy-in from trying this, I recommend having people do a pre-test and then a post-test or retest at the end. The pre-test is simply going to be laying on the floor with your eyes closed and feel how much of your body is in contact with the floor. This is going to be anywhere from how much of your arm, how much of the back of your legs, how much of your back. When we're really wound up and tight, maybe rib cage flared, a little bit in extension posture, what we may find is we're going to actually have points of contact that are in the floor or on the floor, and then we'll feel some gaps. Once we have that locked into memory, we'll go through the sequence we just did on the foam roller, and this is also the post-test. So we're going to ease ourselves off the foam roller, do the same thing, close our eyes, and just notice how much more, if any, our body is in contact with the floor. Anecdotally, I've had clients describe this as feeling like they're laying in more of a pocket or a hole compared to the pre-test. So that just goes to show that this is doing something, getting the body to relax, dropping into more of a neutral posture or position, and really hitting the target muscles of the upper, mid, and lower backs. Give it a try.